Hi, everybody, and welcome to our RS lesson. Your Islamic art was just wonderful last week. I was so impressed. It really has brought joy to my world. It's been brilliant. Really impressive how you all followed some quite complicated instructions. Hopefully the video helped. It does help to be able to follow clear instructions, I know that, rather than just a big piece of paper. So, this week, we're finding out a bit more about the founder of the Islamic faith. So if you cast your mind back a couple of weeks, it feels ages ago now, but back to our first RS lesson, hopefully you'll remember the man's name, and it could be spelt lots of different ways. Hopefully that gives you a clue about the man who started the religion. His name was Muhammad. And today we're going to think about him in particular and a bit more about his life. So on Shobi, I have put the Story of Mohammad on there, but I thought it would be useful for me to read it out to you today. So the story is on there. It's a couple of pages. It's quite nice, big text, but it's 2 pages long. So I read it through. And then the task today is using the information from the story, you're going to complete this, what's called a close passage. So here's kind of some information from the story, but I've left some missing words. Now at the bottom is a word bank, and all of these missing words are down here. So you just need to choose the correct word to put it up here. Now it's quite a long piece of text. It really is. Some of you are the speediest writers in the world, much faster than me. So you might feel that you really want to write it all out into your book, and that's your choice. You really don't have to, though. You can just put the missing words from here into the gaps and stick this in your book. That's fine by me. But if you're someone who loves writing, you have the best handwriting in the world, and it's one of your favorite things to do, and it just brings you joy, then you can. But please don't spend hours over it. It's not about that. It's not about the handwriting. It's about getting the information and understanding the story. Okay, so that's the actual task. Let me read you the story of Muhammad, because it's quite fascinating. So the story of Muhammad, and this is, remember, it's the man who founded the Islamic faith many years ago. So Muhammad, sometimes called Muhammad Abdullah, was the founder of the religion of Islam and is considered by Muslims to be a messenger and a prophet of God. Muslims believe he was the last of the Islamic prophets, which included Noah, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Born in 570 in the Arabian city of Mecca, he was orphaned at an early age and brought up by his uncle, Abu Talib. He later worked mostly as a merchant, as well as a shepherd, and was married by the age of 25. He also worked to help the people in his community. He was a public speaker and a military leader. He wasn't happy with life in Mecca, but couldn't understand why. My business is going well, my family are fine, people like me, so why am I sad? Muhammad thought again about Mecca, the city where he lived. It was a very busy city, full of people, but the people were greedy and dishonest. No one cared about the poor or the needy. People believed in evil spirits and magic, and they worshipped many different gods. Muhammad wondered if there was anything that would show these people how to live better lives and to give up their bad ways. So he decided to leave Mecca and spend some time in a cave outside the city, thinking about these things. It was a quiet, cool place where he could think and pray by himself. According to Islamic beliefs, it was here, at age 40, in the month of Ramadan, that he first received messages from God. One day, Muhammad had a strange feeling that he was no longer alone. "Do not be afraid," said a voice. Muhammad rubbed his eyes and stared. It was an angel. It was the angel Gabriel. Gabriel showed Muhammad some words. Read, the angel commanded. But Mohammed had never gone to school. He'd never learned to read or write. The angel repeated his command before squeezing Mohammed so hard that he thought he was going to faint. The angel released Mohammed and began to read out the beautiful words. Mohammed immediately knew that these words came from God. He listened carefully and was able to remember everything the angel said. Mohammed knew that the people needed to hear this message, so he started to preach what God had told him, that Allah is the one true God, and giving yourself to him is the only way to worship him. He said that he himself was only a prophet and a messenger of God. Now, Muhammad didn't win many followers to begin with, and some tribes around Mecca didn't like his messages, so he and his followers were treated harshly, badly. To escape from this danger, Muhammad and his followers in Mecca went to Medina in the year 622. This event, the Hijrah, marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad united the local tribes who had been fighting each other, and after 8 years of fighting with the tribes from the area around Mecca, his followers, who by then had grown to over 10,000, conquered Mecca. He didn't punish the people who had driven him out of the city. Instead, he made new rules, new laws, which meant that poor people and children were looked after properly. In 632, Muhammad fell ill and died. And by the time of his death, he united tribes of Arabia into a single group who all followed the religion of Islam. Most people who lived on the Arabian Peninsula were Muslim. Muhammad continued to receive messages from God for the rest of his life, and these messages became the Quran, which is the holy book of Islam. To Muslims, Muhammad and the other prophets are so holy that the phrase, "peace be upon him," is always said whenever their names are mentioned. So, that is the story of Muhammad, which is on Shobi. So I'd like you to read that through. And then your task, as I said at the beginning, is to read it through again here. Obviously, this is a shortened version, but you need to select the right information down here in your word bank and put it in up here. Okay? So, an interesting story about how the actual faith of Islam began and where Muhammad got his followers and why he felt actually he had a good life, but it wasn't enough for him. And so he went off to the cave and explored. So enjoy reading it through for yourself, because sometimes listening to me talk, it probably fell asleep halfway through, but hopefully it helps that have someone read it through to you. You can pause it, go back and listen to it again, certain parts if it didn't make sense. And then scan or photograph and pop it onto Shobi so I can mark it. There is a challenge on Shobi. The challenge is, and as a bonus, Muhammad is a little bit similar to somebody else we have studied in RS. And I just wonder if any of you have any idea who that might be. If you'd like to just jot that down as an extra sentence, that'd be brilliant. See you next time.